republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 22nd Town of Wakefield Planning Board meeting. And it looks like we have almost a full board. And Priscilla is not going to be here tonight, is that correct? I don't know if anyone's heard. Okay, and we don't have any alternates, but we do have 4 folks here. So, let's see, is Scott Frankowitz here?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, hey Scott. So the first thing on our agenda is a major subdivision application submitted by Scott Frankowitz of New Hampshire Land Consultants on behalf of Watertown Village for tax map 215 lot 10, located at 600 Old Stage Road, a 26-acre parcel in an agricultural zone. Applicant seeks approval for a major subdivision application to create a 6-lot open space subdivision with 15.24 acres being placed in open space. And I know you were here prior, and there were a number of things that that you have responded to, which is great, and we will see how far we get tonight.
So I'll just give a quick update. And
Yeah,
then
please.
go from there. Scott Frankowitz from New Hampshire Land Consultants. We are here in December. I got continued till tonight. There was a few things that the Planning Commission had, and I think we've addressed. Just looking through it quick that I just got, there was a couple that Jen has noted is not addressed, but I think they have been, just through different ways in the plans and maybe other things that haven't been submitted to the town. But like you said, we're proposing a 6-lot subdivision, all frontage lots. The plan hasn't changed at all from when we came in December. We've added a few things, added driveways, which was one of the requests, and there's some drainage culverts that were missing. That have been added to the plans, and I met with the road agent yesterday, and he came to the town and said he has no issues with anything. I also met with the fire captain yesterday, and he was supposed to submit an email to Amber,
She may have it, she's.
and they didn't seem to have any issues, of course. There isn't any fire protection out there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he can't require, but he asked for sprinklers in the houses.
Okay.
But we'll see what his email says.
He asked for them?
He didn't because,
No, he shouldn't.
yeah. He suggested them.
He suggested it to everyone.
Yep.
So don't take it wrong, it's not just you, it's
I have a copy of
I
this
gave
already,
Doug
so
a
thank you.
copy.
A few other things, we did submit the open space documents that were prepared by an attorney for
Yep.
review. We did submit state subdivision approval. That's still pending. It takes typically 30 days or so to get back from them. I don't see any issues with that. And then with the driveways, we show them on the plans, but of course, the DPW said they'll be approved once you go for a building permit.
Okay.
But he had no issue with where we were showing them.
Yep.
And I think that's where it leaves us off now.
Okay.
Just quickly looking through, jumping to Jen's letter and the one that says did not address. Fire protection, I kind of responded to.
Yeah, can you hold on for 1 second? Did you receive anything from the fire chief?
Yes,
Okay.
he emailed me and said that he reviewed the plans with Scott and that, he thought everything looked good on there and no requirements needed.
Okay.
And Brock too came in and saw me from the DPW and said he
Yep.
didn't see any issues.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Scott, just a quick note.
Yeah.
The letter didn't address those items, but I did find several of
Okay.
the items that I had previously flagged in that section, if you're referring to page 2
Yeah.
of my notes. Yeah, I did find several of them had been addressed in the plans and
Okay.
the materials. they didn't have the
They-
corresponding
okay.
response in the letter. So that's all I was flagging, if folks were cross-referencing.
Yeah, and I'll just walk through them so that everybody, so we put some notes on the plans to kind of address a few of those. At the bottom, we did 4 more notes. One is utility placement be determined by the appropriate utility company when building permit is applied for. So that's the 5.013.2 utility plan. And then silt fence or silt logs be placed down slope of all construction area during construction of the house site to prevent erosion and sediment, which addresses the erosion sediment comment. Easements previously noted documents, and easements is the open space, I'm assuming. We submitted those documents. And then on the driveways, that will be submitted and approved to Brock once somebody's going for a building permit.
Sure.
And then we will, I don't believe we did add steep slopes in the legend. I think we have to add that, but other than that, I think we addressed those comments. And at the last meeting, some of the abutters talked about drainage and stuff. So there were a few drainage culverts on the upper side of the road that, for whatever reason, we shot them when we surveyed it, but they weren't showed on the plan. So as you get kind of where the house is and you're coming towards,
The existing house, is that what?
yeah, the existing house, and you're headed towards Marsh Road,
Yeah.
there's a few driveway culverts on the left, and then one culvert dumps off right into the end of this lot. So what we did is a little diversion berm, diversion swale to get it out of the buildable lot, and once that
Okay.
lot's developed, that will be built.
Brock called me and addressed those things and said that the drainage on the other side of the road is way more than needed. So they seem to be in pretty good shape over there.
All right,
And then we are asking for a few waivers, that we were originally asking for as well as.
Yep.
We did, one of the other, there was a discussion about the 40-foot buffer along the road. We did add a note that all healthy trees remain within 40 feet of the frontage along Old Stage Road and Marsh Road and perimeter of the property. Waiver's been requested for the landscape buffer along the road. Not, we're gonna leave the trees that are there, but we're asking not to have to plant more trees.
yeah, and so most of that is field, is that correct?
Yeah, along Old Stage Road.
Yeah.
Well, you get, half of it is.
Okay.
From the house to Marsh Road is field.
Yeah.
And then from the house to the abutter
Yeah.
is wooded.
Okay,
And then, of course, down Marsh Road, that's all wooded,
Right.
most of it.
I know we spent a lot of time reviewing this last time, but does anyone have any questions? Any thoughts on this? I do have maybe a simple question. What are the, like depicted on the plan where the house lots are?
Yep.
What are those hash marks? Is that like septic system area? Is that buildable area?
Yeah, that's the
Okay, reserve.
4,000 square foot reserve, septic reserve area that the state
Got
of
it.
New Hampshire requires.
Okay.
We show.
That doesn't necessarily mean that that's where the septic would have to be. It's just showing that that's where it could be. Is that
Right, we have to prove there's an area somewhere on the lot that
If there's a
doesn't
failure.
encompass, I mean, it doesn't affect the well location, show
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
well and that can
Yeah,
fit on
so
it.
some, like, there's at least this space that could be utilized.
Right,
Yeah.
and typically, you know, we try to hit the locations where people are gonna do houses, but typically, when somebody buys it, they'll come in and do another test pit and
Yeah,
do a design.
okay, all right. And I think you said you would design those so that there would be no encroachment from like well radius from one lot to another.
Right, they,
Just
all
so
the,
that
all of
was-
them are at least 150 feet wide, so that the
Right.
well radius stays on
Yeah, okay.
entirely on the lot.
All right, just wanna make sure I have my ducks in a row. So if the board was to vote on this tonight, I think there still are some things that would need to be done, such as this, adding the steep slopes, having the attorney review the documentation around, yeah, what is it,
The open space.
the open space. I mean, I looked at it, but I'm not an attorney. It looks good to me, but we would need that review.
Yep.
If there's anything else, Jen, that is outstanding that you can think of, or that you are aware of?
I'll preface all my comments by saying none of it is really profound. But
Yeah.
it's more just like following letter of the ordinance and the
Sure.
regulation, making sure that we, address everything.
Yep.
So there are just a couple things. I do know that there is the waiver request for some of the landscaping, and plan notes that address utilities. Just a couple things there, for you, like, you still have the right per your regulations to review where the placement of those things are. So rather than just say, I'm giving away my authority to review these things, making sure you have that conversation.
Sure.
Like for the utilities, quite simply, like there are existing utilities out there. Those should be on the plan. I think there are some locations where the utilities are shown, but it's not in the legend. So even maybe just that simple, like, plan item to show, like, make sure it's clear, this is where the existing utility lines are. So maybe just, and I think I found them on one of the sheets.
Yeah. The poles are all on there.
Yes,
So there are
exactly.
poles
The
along that road
Yes,
right now.
yeah. So maybe making sure that that is in the legend.
Okay.
Kind of would check a box.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the landscaping, again, because it is an open space conservation subdivision and we haven't had one of these, just good to make sure that we're looking at that landscape buffer provision that is required. That is
Yep.
unique for that type of a subdivision.
Yep.
So making sure you just have that conversation about it. I mean, at a minimum, like there is a thin line of street trees along like the 3 northernmost lots. But only like one or two trees on the southern 3 lots.
Yep.
So like, does that meet the spirit and intent of that regulation? And that's part of what you're gonna need to discuss when you, vote on the waivers.
Okay.
So I pulled from regulation, the standards for reviewing a waiver, and deciding, and just put that in your notes so you have that for reference when you go to have that discussion on each of the individual
Yep.
waivers.
Okay.
So that was those 2 items. Open space, pretty much so good. I probably could have deleted a couple more comments. Homeowners association piece, I would say, like, there's a note provided in the response, that Scott provided, that they provided the open space covenants in lieu of a homeowners association. I have just kind of semantics, they're not synonymous, they would do completely different things. But what, for this particular application, I don't think you need a homeowners association, but I don't, as staff, have the authority to say
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
You have to say
Sure.
that.
Sure.
So those were the main items that I had flagged, and just making sure we send the covenants to legal.
Okay. Is there a waiver request for not having a homeowners association?
No, and I don't think they need to. There is a line in that section of the ordinance. I pulled the quote into my notes and I scrolled past it. Did I put the quote in here?
Yes.
It did. Where am I not seeing quotation marks? Yes, right at the end. Yeah, so I mean, it says an alternate ownership arrangement. That if the board finds that an alternate ownership arrangement is satisfactory. So you can look at it and look and say, yes, we see that this is satisfactory to proceed without a homeowners association.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and they're not building a new road, they're not maintaining a road.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
So it's only the open space piece that would
Correct.
require,
Correct.
That is-
And that's addressed in in that
Yeah,
covenants
right.
document.
the
Right.
covenants, they actually deeding six
Right.
of the property.
Right.
Right.
In this, I
Right.
mean, in this subdivision, it's not like your typical larger conservation subdivision where you would have a full road in it and
Right.
all of these new utilities and infrastructure being
Yep.
constructed.
Yep.
So
Okay. All right, and any other questions before I open it up to the public? All right. Is there anyone here that wants to, from the public that wants to speak either for or against this application?
John Shea, I'm the butter across the street.
Okay,
Jen pretty much addressed all my issues.
okay.
And the only thing I'm concerned is, I believe, do they require certain types of structure with a 5-pitch? Because I read through the ordinance. Can they limit the types of structures built? Is this through covenants or? I
So,
was just reading, I wasn't sure about that.
yeah, so I don't see anything. I don't know whether they're going to build and, you know, that company's gonna build or they're gonna sell the lots
Yeah.
and people would, but it would, from that standpoint.
But I read through this, the ordinance, and I think there was some issues where manufactured housing wasn't allowed in certain, in certain, you know, pitches on the roof were supposed to be no less than 5. And
I don't know about the pitch, that's not gonna be particular to open space, that's gonna be just particular to the overall zoning district. When
Yeah.
someone comes in for a building permit, they're gonna have to still comply with anything in the zoning ordinance.
yeah, that's, and that, and again, my other concern would be, I believe, aren't underground utilities required? Would that be from the street, or, I think that was
I think that's if it's internal, so it'd be
Oh.
like if there's a new road.
so they would just choose whether to get a pole or a,
Well, they wouldn't need one because most of all these are within 200 feet from the road and there's a pole on the road, so
yeah, so they would just.
they would just use the pole.
Yeah.
No, there's no requirements for that.
And we'll be seeing the updated plans with the driveway, cuts and all that.
Yeah, I mean, there's-
Close,
Submitted,
yeah.
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 Do you have something?
Yeah, they're shown on there, and they're only preliminary locations.
Just, yeah, and actually they can be changed.
Yeah.
But, again, okay, thank you very much. Okay, those are just my only my
Okay.
questions. I just,
Okay.
because I read through the ordinance, but I'm,
Yep.
not as well as.
No, all good.
You.
All right, appreciate it, thank you. All right. So, I'm gonna close the public portion of the hearing. So, any further questions? Should we address the waivers first?
Yes.
Okay. So, why don't we walk through each of the 3 waivers separately? So, section C9, landscaping, so a landscape plan to be submitted to the planning board for approval. We've talked a bit about that, what's out there today. So what the applicant is asking for, we're proposing 6 residential lots with a roadway. All lots have frontage and access to Old Stage Road. We're requesting a waiver from providing a landscape plan, and each lot will be developed by the individual property owners when purchased and landscaped appropriately. Thoughts on that? Anyone have any concerns with that?
I don't have any concerns with the proposal.
Did you have anything, Josh?
No, I mean, it's up to the owner, if they wanna put in for a landscape, I don't know what appropriate would be.
Yeah,
You know,
me neither.
it's pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just devil's advocate, and I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with what the waiver is. I mean, like, the board could decide that, hey, we want a 20-foot buffer of plantings along that road before anything is built.
Well, there
I'm
ain't
not
20-foot
suggesting,
Buffer
So, well,
anywhere down that
What would
road.
that be
No,
to
but-
reduce noise, to
mean,
site,
Just visual.
aesthetic?
Visual.
Yeah.
visual, right?
Aesthetic.
I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying, like, that's what it's getting at,
Yeah.
right?
So that they maybe couldn't put hardscape up onto the boundary line or something like that, but, I mean,
Yeah,
it's really,
I
it's kinda.
I don't see a need for it. I agree with the waiver request, but again, just kind of
Yeah.
devil's advocate there. So,
Spruce up the area.
if there's not any further discussion on it, does anyone care to make a motion about this first waiver?
I'll move the approval of the waiver on the landscaping plan.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. Second waiver request. So a landscape buffer. A landscape buffer strip shall be provided along the perimeter of the parcel lot, except, and then, that is more language there, but, so the request says that the majority of the perimeter is road frontage and/or within the open space proposed. We have placed a note on the plan stating that all healthy trees should remain along the road frontage and perimeter of the property. The waiver is from providing additional plantings. That seems reasonable to me.
Yes. It's consistent with what's there along the
Correct.
road.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Anyone have any other thoughts on that?
All trees and.
Do you have anything that you wanted to add?
My question
anywhere.
is
Sure.
what, when we say maintain, as many healthy trees as reasonable, like, are all of the trees healthy? Are none of the trees healthy? Just having some relative scale, so we understand what that means.
Yeah, I guess anybody could deem them a hazard. Really, they could go in
So what
there,
is-
drill
yeah,
a,
so
they
what
could
is-
drill a borehole and say, hey, this oak tree is hollow. But
Right.
Typically, oak trees are hollow,
Yeah.
because the ants running through them, and they're still healthy. But law covers healthy oaks.
So
It's
is there another
interesting,
way
isn't it?
to,
Just like a follow-up question maybe for Scott, if you could
So-
share a little bit about.
Yeah, so
those-
what we've done in the past is if there's a substantial tree,
Yeah.
and if somebody wants to cut it down, a forester has to write a letter saying it's a hazard.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that, and town of Nottingham made us do that on one of our subdivisions, that they want to protect some of the trees along the road. And if it's a substantial, if it's a 2, 3, 4-inch tree,
Those don't even,
Right.
they don't even fall into. the
but maybe
category.
set a size, and if it's deemed a
Yeah.
hazard.
yep.
Yeah, we have
So-
some old growth up in that area.
Yeah, you got the dead ash that's still up there.
Yeah, oh, maybe he'll come back.
Yeah, it's
They're
on
gonna
the
come back
property
to
line,
life.
so it's being
They're
preserved.
dead for a long time, they still
Yeah.
look, they just look bare.
So, like, if the board was looking to have something like that in place, how is that addressed? Is that a condition of approval?
You could, I mean, as a condition subsequent, you could do, I don't, you,
If a tree was to be removed, it'd be
Yeah, if a
deemed
tree-
a hazard by a county
correct,
forester.
yes, if it, exactly, you could do that. You could also say, it's like an arbitrary number, if more than 50% of the trees were deemed to be hazard trees, that a certain number be replanted. That you could do that. Again,
6 to 1, half a dozen the other. I can have an arborist there tomorrow and cut every one of them. It's like asking a foolish question. They've made a comment of saying they're gonna save all the trees that they can, but I can have an arborist there tomorrow and tell you every one of them's bad. It's nothing to it. That's why you're fighting a losing battle. So they're
Well-
willing to do it.
Well, an arborist would have to document that it is a hazard. It's not just you go in there and say, this is a hazard. It has to be documented as such, and records need to be retained.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's very hard.
There's a way
not
around
to-
it if you need-
It's
But
completely,
deeming it a hazard is pretty,
it's pretty easy. All I'm saying is,
So let me
they're
ask
willing to say it
question.
here at the table,
Right.
that they're going to do the best that they can to
Yeah.
preserve the trees.
Right.
I don't disagree with you, Charlie, and want to make sure we're following
No, I
all
know.
of the rules. And there are specific criteria that we have to meet to grant a waiver, so want to make sure that we have addressed those.
what if it was something that preserved the healthy old growth? What was it, if we were to say something that, I don't know, how you preserve the old growth, because in that area you have some trees that are over 200
Yeah.
years old. Those are, those are older than any of us.
So does this condition, my question is, does this condition carry to the owner that buys the lot?
Yes, it
Yeah.
would, as a condition subsequent, yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's not just
Him, no.
the subdivision
It'd be the
itself,
owner of the lot.
it's the actual lots.
Yeah,
Yes.
because an owner could come in and they could take a tree down for aesthetic reasons, really. They could. Interesting.
But you stated that all the trees along the roadside, and do you have them marked? Or is it on the plan? I didn't notice, but do you have trees that are marked on the plan?
No, we didn't locate any.
Yeah, see, so it's just, it's so hard to, I guess sometimes you gotta go on faith, you know, that most people don't wanna cut all the trees, of course not, but, I mean, it's so hard to go there and enforce that, so.
That's correct. It is
It's
hard
the
to
enforcement. I'm not against it. It's just the enforcement. You know, it's so easy to go get an arborist to say that trees, I don't care if he documents it or not. Once it's gone, how do you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's gone. It's just,
I think, well, so it would seem to me that the spirit of that provision is that, we don't want an individual builder to say, oh, it'd be much easier if I just clear cut this whole lot.
correct, I understand.
Which happens,
But-
obviously.
But you've stated, he stated that they're
Yes.
not.
And
you know?
I would also, I would add on to that, Dick, and to kind of elaborate on why you probably should grant this waiver is that, again, conservation subdivision is typically a larger development with many more houses, clustered together, and the intent of providing a buffer is to kind of screen that density.
Right.
And so it's 6 houses,
Right.
all on an existing street front. So it's a little, what's happening here is a bit different than the typical that was envisioned.
Sure.
So I think that in part would help
Okay,
support.
Yeah.
okay.
So what does that, where does that leave us?
Well, I think the intent is all good, you know?
And we do have a note on the plan
Yeah.
that will be
Yeah.
recorded at the registry as well with the
Yeah.
recorded plot.
Yeah.
So what happens when you sell, when one of these lots is sold? How does that get carried forward?
But the deed that transfers the lot will reference the plan, which references the notes. I mean, it's,
And I see down here, you have a state champion ash tree called out.
yeah,
They'll be preserved.
yeah.
I'm sure it's very healthy.
So, but there's no specific reference in the deed. It just references, go back and look at the plan. If you don't go back and look at the plan, you're never gonna see the notes or see the fact that there were conditions to the waiver. So, I don't know how to, I mean, it doesn't seem to
So-
be any,
That's what I'm saying.
there's no
But that's-
convenient way to deal
right,
with
but
that.
that's,
No,
that's
it's the
typical though.
enforcement.
No,
That's-
I
That's
don't-
typical
yeah.
that your deed is gonna reference the subdivision plan and then it is,
Right,
you know,
and
it's,
yeah,
And most of these will say any restrictions,
Yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah.
easements,
it'll all be
anything
spelled
referenced
out.
on the plan apply.
Right.
As long as they're after 1990.
yeah.
Before that, they encourage
Yeah.
people to.
Yeah. So, any further discussion on this? Anyone care to make a motion?
so I would move, now, when do we add the condition, if we're gonna add a condition that he's already got there?
You can, I mean, you can identify it now, and I'm
In-
just
in the
taking,
motion.
I'm taking notes as you go.
And what was the
when you get to
specific, what
approval.
was the specific wording, about maintaining the tree substantial, or what was the specific
Oh,
language on
you
the
had
plan?
something.
Well, our note says all healthy trees remain within 40 feet of the frontage along Old Stage Road, Marsh Road, and the perimeter of the property.
All right, so, I will move approval of the waiver, on the buffer, subject to condition that he just read.
Okay,
So that's interesting because it says all healthy trees.
We can
I'll
change
second
it.
that.
okay.
So you second?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion?
It could be 3-inch puff. It could be a 3-inch caliper. As long as it's healthy, you take it out.
Anyone good, everyone good?
Yeah,
All right,
we got a motion and.
yeah, motion second,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
That
Charlie.
was painful.
All right, and the last waiver request, so subsection 16, scaled roadway center line at 50-foot increments. So the ask is the subdivision lots are all frontage lots with no new road and therefore no roadway center line to label.
at the last meeting, that was discussed, just
Yeah.
because it's in the regulations that we should ask for a waiver on it.
Yeah, I recommended that, and the only thing I had flagged was that, just confirming that there would be adequate sight lines, and that, I think that's part of the intent of having that provision, in the regulation, so just, and I think you've addressed that already.
Yeah, with the
road
building
agent you
permit and
mentioned.
and the driveway permit out.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
Confirmed.
I'll move the approval of that waiver.
Second it.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so waivers have been granted. Is there anything else that we need to do before potentially providing approval?
So the only condition of approval, aside from whatever we did on the waivers, was the New Hampshire DES subsurface subdivision approval.
so, through what I had jotted previously, plus what we discussed just now through the meeting, I have receipt of all state permits, particularly DES subdivision. The legal review and approve the declaration of
Okay.
open space covenants. And then the remaining ones are all just small things. Update the cover sheets waivers requested to be waivers granted. Boundary markers to be set and noted on the plans. Add steep slopes greater than 25% to the legend. Add existing utilities to the plans and legend.
And you'll provide that note to Scott?
Michelle?
Well, what you just read off is what's required. What is, I mean,
Those-
I know I saw him jotting that down, but
Yes.
We'll get
Oh,
this
just
yeah.
want to make sure that.
Notice of condition.
Yeah,
make
they'll be
sure
on the
that-
notice of decision.
Got it,
Yeah.
got it, okay.
Yep.
So what was the sixth one?
Utilities, to the plans and particularly legend. I think some are already there.
So there were 5,
6.
6, so what's the fifth one then?
I got the state permits with DES.
Right, the
Legal review.
counsel,
Waivers requested.
Yeah.
To granted on the cover.
Yeah.
Boundary
Boundary
markers, boundary markers to be set and noted on the plans.
yeah,
Add steep slopes to the legend.
okay, steep slopes.
Add existing utilities to the plans and legends.
And easy enough for you.
Yeah.
Assuming this moves forward, can you forward the comments to our attorney, Stephen? All right, thank you.
And if there's any comments or whatever, just give them over to us, we'll give them to the attorney. Can the attorneys talk back and forth if there's edits?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I'd like to ask that, a lot of towns want everything to go through, but we can always CC everybody
Yep.
if there's any comments.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any last questions, further discussion? Would anyone care to make a motion to approve this major subdivision application?
I'll move the approval of the application, subject to, with conditions, receipt of all state permits, including but not limited to the New Hampshire DES subdivision permit, Town of Wakefield legal counsel review and approval of the declaration of open space covenants, update the cover sheet so that it's worded waivers granted, add the steep slopes to the legend, and add existing utilities to the plan and legend. I think that's it, right?
Boundary markers.
Oh, boundary markers to be set and noted on the plans.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Scott.
It'd be nice to note that it actually says all healthy trees, not just on Stagecoach Road, but on Marsh Road and the perimeter of the property.
All right, next on the agenda is a conditional use permit application submitted by Philip Capitan, Freedom Forever New Hampshire LLC of Temecula, California, on behalf of Barry and Patricia Williams, for property they own located at 4775 White Mountain Highway, tax map 89, lot 1, a 3.6 acre lot. Applicant seeks approval of a conditional use permit to install a ground-mounted PVC solar panel system size of 8.1 kilowatts, 20 PV panels, no battery storage to be installed. Property is located in the residential 3 zone. Hi, good evening.
My name's Anthony Koga. I'm here on behalf of Phil Capitan.
Okay.
And Freedom Forever. I'm the branch manager that is gonna oversee this project.
Okay, great. And can you tell us a bit about the project, maybe approximately how large that array would be?
Yeah,
Maybe as far as area and then height? And then at some point, we'd be looking to try to understand where that would be located on the lot.
So location of the array is gonna be about 20 feet from the property itself. The panels individually are roughly 40 to 45 inches by 70 inches.
Okay,
So a pretty large array.
Is that 6, 7 feet?
Yeah, so it'll be roughly 15 feet in height.
yeah,
And roughly 30 feet wide. Again, it is a 20 panel ground mount system, black on black panels. The use case for a ground mount is the customer elected, instead of putting it on the roof, just due to production concerns, to meet the use, their energy usage of the home. And so essentially it'll produce better as a ground mount system versus roof mounted.
Is that because they could move it to a different location?
We could
based
set
upon-
the azimuth, so it'll be facing almost due south at 163 degrees.
Versus if it was on the roof, it wouldn't necessarily.
It would be spread out at different azimuths on the different mounting planes, so less production.
Okay, all right. Would you be able to specifically, or at least provide an approximate, like on the property where, approximately where that would be?
And this is the property depicted here?
That's the building, correct?
Yeah, so it would be literally right next to it, about 20 feet off of
Between the house and.
And the
Route
road
16?
itself.
Okay,
That's the old house.
I'm sorry?
That's the old house.
So there's not a, there's a,
There's a second house on the property.
Well, it was a sugar
Okay.
house. That's the sugar house that's
The
on that.
existing unit,
Yes.
okay.
So that paper that's got the yellow outline on it,
Yeah.
that building on there is the sugar.
Okay, so, I
is
mean,
it across from
The
Wonton's?
yes.
Yeah,
it's gonna be probably roughly 50 feet behind that, next to the, I'm assuming the new construction home, and then off of the home itself, on the side that the utility meter is.
Okay, the homeowners are here.
As long as it meets zoning,
well, so
Would that matter?
maybe a little bit of background. The reason that we require a conditional use permit is because in the past, before we had anything in zoning around solar panels, that there was a project in town where somebody built a panel, or put a system that moved, in direct view of a neighbor's view of a lake. One could argue that they could have moved that panel like in another like spot on the property, and it would have worked completely the same and would not have caused any issues for the neighbors. So we as a board, put something in front of the voters, and basically what this does is, this means that your project gets publicly noticed. If there was anyone that was concerned about what you might be wanting to do, they would have the right to come to this meeting and ask questions. And in that case back a number of years ago, like, we made some assumptions like that probably would have happened, and therefore maybe there might have been some discussion and something could have been moved and everyone would have been happy, right? And so that's the reason that we're here. Is this, in this case, is this likely a simple request? And is it 100% necessary? Maybe not, but there are other instances that have happened where it probably is a good thing that we follow through with this. So just a bit of background there, and that's why we're asking these questions. Where this is located, I don't see anybody else from the public asking any questions, so likely there won't be any issues.
So
But
where on this plan, okay, this is the
This
house,
is
right?
property located across from one
That's
house,
the sugar house?
Sugar house?
No, the sugar
Correct.
house is
Yes.
that one there.
This is more accurately the new house, maybe a little
Yeah.
further back.
So, how far back from 16?
Yeah,
It's gonna be literally almost right next to the home, about 20 feet
so
up.
right on, we're pretty much right along the
So
highway.
like 20 feet off the property line.
How far from the highway is it?
Because the Sugar Shack's what, 300 feet off the highway? Not even?
It's right, it's
160?
So if you was to guess, the solar panels are gonna be how far from the highway?
Very frequent as a kid over there.
Yeah,
yeah, okay, sorry. Okay.
it's a good guess.
And it wouldn't cause a glare for the highway?
And which way is it, and which way is it? It's
Yeah, which
tipped
was-
to the south,
Correct, well, almost due south, so 163
so
degrees.
it's tipped,
Well,
the highway is here, it's tipped, running parallel with the highway.
the array itself will be at a 30-degree tilt.
Right.
And then in terms of the azimuth, it'll be facing 163 degrees, which is, again, almost due south.
All right, so is due south running, is north-south, is the highway there north-south?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically running, so you would,
Get your
if you're
point.
looking from the highway towards the array, you would see a side view of the array from the highway.
Yeah, you would see a side view, but with it being at almost a 30-degree tilt, it's not gonna be facing directly at the road itself. It's gonna be more positioned towards, up.
It's gonna be faced parallel with the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right, so you would see it like this, you're looking at it, here's the array.
Going north.
You're
You'd be looking at it head-on.
You're looking at it this way from
Yeah.
the road. Now, from a distance, you're obviously gonna see it coming north, you're gonna see the full array.
So this array is a little different than the one that was described, the other one being a solar tracker. It does move and it can be positioned in different places.
Right, and
This
it's
is gonna be a stationary ground mount, so kind of choosing the direction it's gonna be facing is again just based on the usage of the home and
Right, yeah, you want
production.
it facing south,
So
I
you
get
guys
that.
went in and surveyed it, where the
Correct.
best array is.
And then
that's
looked
where
at
you're
the
gonna place
utility
it.
bill.
It's not gonna move,
Correct.
yeah.
Jen has a question, I think.
I am
comment.
95% certain it is in the front setback.
It's
is
within the
within?
front setback.
It is almost entirely within the front setback.
What's that mean?
What does that mean?
When you say it's within the
required
setback
The
is,
front setback in the R3 district is 50 feet from the property line.
and he just said it was over 100.
No, not from the edge of pavement, from the property line. Route 16 has a significant right of way. The property
It has
line,
a big right of way, it has an extra.
very big right of way.
50 or
So
100 feet.
if you look
middle
at
of the
the
highway.
aerial imagery, the Sugar Shack is only 50 feet from the property line. And so like looking at, and I did, in my staff note, you've got a sketch. The plans aren't presented at a scale that is a normal scale, like it's not an architect scale, it's not an engineer scale, so I had to kind of make it up, figure it out. So the existing Sugar Shack structure, also measuring it on aerial imagery, is 50 feet. So use that as my visual scale to mark up the drawings. So yeah, going out 50 feet and trying to like guesstimate the angle of the property line going up, it looks like the majority of the solar array is within that 50-foot front setback. So without having property lines on this sketch, it's really hard to, and knowing that the array is 30 feet wide, it's highly probable that the majority, if not all of it, is in the front setback, which is not allowed without a variance.
So are there other options for placement on that property?
I'd have to kind of dig a little bit deeper in terms of what the land looks like. I know that this one has gone through a couple revisions already. We've done quite a few ground mounts where we've had to have additional surveys take place for stuff like that, specifically with wetlands for the majority, but also property lines as well.
So it seems like you're gonna need to establish that sideline of Route 16
Yeah.
in relation to where you wanna put it.
First of
So,
all, that sugar house is 60 feet off that property.
It's quite possible, and that's what I'm saying. I can't say with certainty because I'm working off of GIS aerial imagery, not survey level, and the drawings don't give enough information to confirm that. But just knowing the widths of what there is, it is highly likely that it is within the front setback.
So if
Whose
the,
front setback is that?
It's a zoning ordinance front setback.
Because I called the state engineer.
The state doesn't do your town zoning.
Well, I called the state engineer because of another idea I had. And that engineer informed me that the state does not require any setbacks from a state road. She
That's
said,
fine.
you could literally build your house. And the reason I called is because we had to keep moving the house closer to the road because of the ledge that we kept hitting. And she said, you could build your house right up to the state right of way, because it's 100 feet there. And they said, but don't build it 1 inch over that right of way, because then we'll tear it down. But she said, there is no requirement by the state to have any setback off that right of way, because it's so wide on 16, it's 100 feet
But we're talking,
right away.
we're talking town zoning. So you, just because you're on a state road doesn't mean you don't buy
Well, the
the
engineer told
town.
me, just let me, can I-
Yeah, go ahead.
The engineer told me that those regulations are only for town roads. And we do border Long Ridge Road on the other end, but it's 300 feet from that.
he didn't know what he was talking about.
And
Basically, he was incorrect. The zoning applies to all property within the town, and there are setback requirements. I also think he was wrong with regard to the requirements along 16, because when we did Dunkin' Donuts, we looked at the state, 16 has a 50-foot buffer requirement from their right-of-way, 50 feet, you have to, Dunkin' Donuts had to actually move their building because they were gonna be within that 50-foot buffer. So I think that, I believe there's a buffer requirement. I know it was a requirement down at 153. Whether that's specific to that area or not, I don't know, but I know there, we were led to believe that there's a 50-foot buffer requirement, that you can't build anything up to the property line of the state.
But if he
I
meets,
don't know if that's true here.
if he meets the zoning,
Right.
where he's fine. I mean, for us to tell him where to put it on there, that's their choice. They can put it anywhere they want.
As long as
But
they
as long
don't,
as he meets that zoning and,
Right.
and that enforcement comes when Peter goes out and does his inspection.
Right.
Which, I don't know what he inspects on solo, but, as long as he meets that requirement, which is, I'm not sure, our requirement is 50 feet.
50
right,
feet in the
front.
R3.
And residential 3 is what
Yeah,
you're saying?
yeah.
So, as long as he meets that requirement in the front, you've got your boundaries marked, correct? So make that your stipulation, your condition, is that proper?
I mean, to stop him from wanting to have solar, I mean, I
And
don't
the-
think that's,
Oh, I don't think, yeah,
correct.
no, I would,
And the panels themselves can't come over that.
I would hesitate to grant approval without knowing where the property line is and where the where the setback line is at this point. Because essentially if they move the location from where it is now, they'd have to come back for another hearing and they'd have to like pay for those notices a second time. So I would recommend continuing, let them find out where that is. And if they need to move it, then they don't have to pay for a second set of notices. They can come back at the next meeting or when they, let us know when they're ready. So I'd say you don't have to decide it tonight, you can continue it, and give them the chance to confirm that property line and setback location.
Well, if there's a question about the setback and whether this encroaches on the setback, then we gotta have that property line on a plan
Yeah,
that says, okay,
Yeah.
here's the lot. We know now where the property line is, and that's what Peter would go by.
yeah.
but when you
don't
go
even need
to
the whole
when you
thing.
go to apply for a permit, you do a plot plan. And on that permit, the plot plan will show that, it'll show that he's 50, 60, 70 feet from that, and it's located there. So if he puts it within the boundary and does that, and it's wrong, then you have legitimate gripe to be able to make them move that. You see what I'm saying? There is a boundary thing. When I go to fill out an application and I build a house, I put it on there that I'm 73 feet from
Right,
the
I
property
get
line,
that.
right?
But,
So,
but unless the state has boundary markers along that right of way, you don't know in
we
the
don't know,
field.
and we're still not going to know.
Yes, you do. The center line of the road.
Yeah,
They measure it from the center line of the road.
yeah, everything's measured from the
So-
center line.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you measure out there, but I'm just saying, as us, as in,
Yeah, I understand.
we're not going to know. So you make sure that he documents it on the paper.
Right.
And that if anything ever came up, he put that there. He either lied on the application or he put the best of his knowledge and he suffers the consequences. Is what I'm trying to say, is we can't enforce that. Peter's not a surveyor. He's not gonna go out and measure that to make sure that it's in the right location. Is
Right,
what I'm
but-
trying to
but-
say.
But from what they're providing to us tonight, we don't have any idea
You
where
don't
that.
have enough information
We don't have
to,
enough information to say, yeah, that location is appropriate or not.
Yeah, I'm all about the solar. It's just
Right,
making sure that
exactly.
it's
Like
in
it's-
the
Yeah, you
correct
just have to-
setback.
you don't wanna say no, but you gotta follow, yeah. But,
So if we move it closer to the house then,
Yeah, well, what the board's trying to say is that we can't tell if you're anywhere near the line. We don't have a spot that shows that you're 60 feet away from the property line. So if you went back home, sat at your desk and drew this out, then that to me would be adequate, because now you're taking responsibility. I can't prove that you're telling the truth, or I can't prove that you're not.
all you're gonna do is pull tape from something.
I understand that, but I'm not a surveyor. I don't go out and do that. Nobody does, you know?
The engineer showed me the center line is the one.
And I agree with you, and most places are like that. I'm just saying that we, as the building department, Peter's not gonna go out there and measure that.
Right.
He's just not. That's not
So
in
at
his
least
profile.
on the, because we went through this whole thing on the Dunkin' Donuts again. I don't wanna make a mountain out of a molehill, but the pavement of the road is not necessarily in the center of the right-of-way.
correct.
So you cannot measure from the center of the road and assume that 50 feet from that center of pavement is the
Okay.
property line.
Right.
That it isn't necessarily built, the pavement is not put down necessarily within the right dead center in the middle.
Actually, the engineer checked the plans for the original road that actually my father worked on and built, years ago when he worked for, Audrey. And, He went back to the original plans to make sure. He said, yeah, that center line is the marker. He confirmed it.
Okay.
See, using
That's fine.
eating full of,
We need where the property line is, and we
Good for you.
need the 50-foot setback.
We need it on a plan that we then
So
becomes
he needs some
part of
kind of
the.
dimension.
So we need a plan revision, basically showing where the property line is and the distance between that and the array. And
Right.
then, I mean,
just some dimensions.
then we would be looking at a continuance for next month's meeting, and then by which, if we provide that stuff, we should be able to move forward.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
We were absolutely in favor of the, that's why we put, but we
I
put
get
this in,
Yeah.
so that if there's glitches like this.
Cover our bases.
It gets, it gets uncovered before somebody puts it in the ground.
Just to help maple syrup candy again?
Yeah, sorry.
Someone speak one more time.
Yeah,
Would this
sorry.
work if we move it over to the property, the project over, closer to the building?
You might see when
You
you
might,
take,
you might work where you are.
yeah, we just need
You just
dimensions.
need to show it on the
I
plan.
just wanted to know if that would be acceptable too.
It's all acceptable.
Yeah.
As long as you
Yes.
meet the
As long
setback.
as you're within, as long as you meet the setback, yes. If there's other ways for you to do that and move it over, reconfigure how that,
It would be good to have those dimensions anyways in the plan, so that,
Yeah.
it's-
yeah. But
That's
yes,
understandable.
the answer is yes. Yeah.
That way if in a butter or something, it's like, well, where's it gonna go? Clear
Yeah.
as defined.
Would we need something in writing to ask for continuance? Great.
Does that mess you up totally? I mean, they're not gonna put it in at the moment, are they?
Well, we're already messed up anyway on it because we wanted to get it in.
Working on this since
By the end of
July,
the
so,
year, once
Yeah, the
we-
ground's pretty frozen, so it'd be pretty hard to put
Lock
some
in,
posts in the ground.
lock in
at the
that
moment.
electricity price, huh?
So when's the next meeting?
For the
So our
next
next
15
meeting
years.
is the 5th, I believe. Is that too soon?
We should be able to make that work,
You think so?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think
pretty,
it's the
No, 5th of February?
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Oh, okay. Well, month away.
Is that place open up there or what?
It would be the
Sugar Shack.
Oh,
Jeez,
yeah, we should.
I was a frequent flyer of that place when the weather vane was up there.
Yeah,
Oh, you're the house
Yeah.
right next to it, across from Wonton's?
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You just put the driveway in there, the hump, the climb up over the humps?
We wouldn't make it 1,000-foot elevation. for the-
Is that what it was? You're pretty up there.
No, we just kept hitting ledge, so we had the foundation had to come up higher than we
Oh, yeah.
anticipated. A lot of ledge up there.
we're
Oh, yeah.
thinking walkers, wheelchairs, level,
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive the level of the door, so.
You have plans on using the Sugar Shack? Is that yours, the Sugar Shack?
Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna reopen that to be something?
That nice dark amber, come on. Yeah,
Has it always been yours?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
we've gone back for 40 years.
I was disappointed when I came back to the area and saw it was closed. Brought the kids and I said, oh, this is the place. Place, and I said, oh, maybe it's not anymore.
You gotta learn that when you say, okay, kids, are you gonna take this over? We'll give you 2 years. They wait till 2 years and then they
Say no.
I don't know,
There's a lot of work to it. My daughter does it. She does it quite well, and my son does it, so there's a lot of work to it.
It is, isn't it?
Some staple of the area,
Yeah.
But by doing a continuance, then we don't have more fees? and
No.
Correct.
No.
Correct.
Correct, yep.
Thank you for that.
Just a 50 on the seat. No.
This one's over.
So is this actually the energy company that's doing it? It's like not Sunrun or anything like that?
No, so Freedom Forever, similar to Sunrun.
Okay.
Yeah, we're our own installation company.
Okay.
I'm doing a big solar thing on a house I just built just now.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're doing it on the roof.
yeah.
I
They're
got
covering
panels.
the whole roof. I mean, it looks like NASA inside this building.
I'll tell you what, it helps retain heat.
Yeah.
It does too.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's a real big kicker if you put it on your roof, because you
So
can get a
we
free
have
roof
the
replacement.
continuance,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of
Okay.
times you can bake that into
Make
it.
that-
Exactly.
What was that?
Make
It's
that
quite a
motion.
bit.
That we accept the continuance?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll move to continue.
Okay. Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll
that we
make a
move to
motion to
continue?
move to continue to February 5th meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Nick? Yeah, sure.
said something about if we don't have the 50 feet, you could get the variance for that?
You could go to the zoning board, yeah.
Yeah.
So the planning board just doesn't have the authority to approve anything that isn't strictly in conformance with zoning.
In your experience, before I leave, would it be better to go that route through zoning?
No.
Okay.
No.
If you can go without it,
I've
don't
seen it
bother.
both in different towns, it just depends on what the
Yeah, so,
expectations are.
my opinion, what I'd say is, you likely have other ways to get around that setback. It's not like that would stop you from installing those solar panels on that property.
Yeah.
So, that might be a hard variance to get granted.
Correct.
My opinion
Yeah.
only.
No,
but
he's right.
that's- yeah.
If it was the only spot, it'd be different, but
Right.
Yeah.
you don't. So the variance is supposed to be, it's almost impossible to get them. You're supposed, not be supposed to get them, but,
Except I did spend $3,000 getting trees cut down for that spot, but.
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
But you're better off just mark it on there. You got probably enough.
We'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. All right, let's see, moving on. So, we have an amendment, Amendment 5 to review. This is the final public hearing on warrant Article 6, zoning amendment 5. Are you in favor of adopting an amendment as proposed by the planning board for the town's zoning ordinance as follows? Amend Article 14, performance standards to replace the current general noise provision with updated measurable noise standards for non-residential uses. The amendment would establish specific daytime and nighttime decibel limits at property lines based upon specific zoning district ranging from 50 to 70 decibels, requiring ANSI standard sound measurements and allow the planning board to require noise mitigation measures for new or expanded non-residential developments. So, Charlie, I don't think you were at our last meeting when we brought this up. So we
No, I
talked about this previously, and then as a board, we came back and made quite a bit of revisions on it. So it wasn't just one standard for the entire town, that there are different standards based upon zoning districts, because the original proposal, at least in my opinion, could be too low for business, commercial districts, and/or light industrial, right? So if you're if you're running, a business in light industrial, and maybe you have an air compressor that needs to run outside from time to time, we don't want to stop that, right?
I know, but it's just one more step into it. So no, you go ahead and do your thing, and
So a leaf,
I'm okay with it. I
a leaf
get it.
blower, commercial leaf blower, is 79 dBA. So that would be a Red Max 8560. It's a 79 dBA to it. So that would prevent them from being out there before 6:30 in the morning with a snowblower.
But this is for new development. I would not classify.
Commercial, I thought, is
I know,
what
but
we
it's
had.
it's just the beginning. You're gonna understand, in my theory, it's just the beginning. So you start with this one, and then it moves to another one. So you just take your vote, and you'll be, you've got it all written out, so do your vote. And
Okay. So,
So that wouldn't apply,
No,
because it's permanent,
exactly.
so it's not construction activity, it's not building activity, it's some
I think that
process
makes
which is
sense.
gonna be there forever.
But if it's a commercial, it wouldn't be in some of these residential areas.
Yeah, but that would still be loud. If you
So-
could hear that from the outside, from a property line, because you can. And that was going all night long, and you're in a butter and you live next to that place, or, and it's residential, I think you'd probably have a problem with it.
Well, that's why they come to the planning board. Then you deny that because of that.
But do you deny it, or do you end up with another situation, maybe where it's a public hearing and you have the town out there again?
Well, that seems to work.
Is that the
Everybody gets
route?
scared. you know.
I don't, we've talked about this,
I-
right?
you
And
just
and
go ahead and-
honestly, I will say publicly, I appreciate your stance on this. I understand
okay.
it, right?
It's okay.
And I guess I also appreciate that what you're saying is, well, let's let the voters decide.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I say.
So, any further discussion on this? Are we good at putting this forth to the?
I'll move that we move this to the
Well,
public
this is,
hearing.
this is gonna go to the voters.
Right.
Right.
No matter
Correct.
what.
First
No
thing
matter
we're
what.
gonna
Yeah,
have,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so they'll
so-
have a decision.
we're gonna have to, this is part of this is not the public hearing that's approving this, is it?
It is.
Tonight is a public hearing, you're not approving this, you are voting on whether or
Okay.
not to send it to
I
town
didn't,
meeting.
I didn't hear you open a public hearing.
Oh.
To town meeting.
There's no one here to. open
No,
it.
I understand that, I understand that. So I was confused. I thought we were sending this to a public hearing. We're
No,
not.
no, sorry.
This is the
sorry.
public
This is the
hearing.
public hearing.
All right.
Correct.
Sending
Correct.
this to the ballot.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's my motion.
Okay, anyone care to second that?
If, so this is, so the abutter would have to pay to prove that they're loud, is that correct? I mean, they would have to hire a third party to come in and do.
The applicant would have to
Prove.
prove that what they're proposing to do
Is less than
fits
that.
within the standards.
Okay.
The abutter wouldn't have to do anything but come to
No.
a public hearing
Yeah.
and listen.
Right. That makes sense?
Yeah, I'll second it and let the voters decide.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
I'm against.
Okay. Did-
And I got it to 6:30.
Huh?
I got it to 6:30.
I know, it's just crazy. I work at 6, so.
Well, that's the
Josh,
problem, right?
did you vote yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be on the voters to decide either
Yeah,
way, right? I mean,
correct.
Right.
If we had a company that came in here and said, hey, I got 80 dBA, it's gonna be an uproar. If they can decide now if they wanna avoid that uproar, or if they wanna,
Well, we put that in zoning and they come in and say that it doesn't meet the zoning standard, then
Yeah.
they would need a variance.
Correct.
Right,
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
okay.
I mean, I hear Crawford out there about 6:30 in the morning anyway, so I don't think it's any earlier.
Guys are all working in the dark
Yeah, he's an animal over there.
There's lights.
this time of year.
We got lights
I
on
think the
there.
problem in this town is that you don't have a big issue with commercial use that are gonna be with that. You actually have homeowners that are actually out there at 2 o'clock in the morning running a dozer or things like that.
And they're
Sleep,
free to
folks.
do that.
And I agree, I agree. They wanna get drunk and go run their dozer into a pond, and
Yeah.
so be it.
Bagpipes too.
Yeah, you know.
We got a guy who used to play bagpipes.
Jeez.
Amazing Grace in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I think it's good. It doesn't
I think
affect the
I might have gone to
residential.
college with that guy.
How do you think that someday will affect the residential?
It's gonna affect everything.
Bagpipes are not permitted
Hopefully they shoot.
in commercial zones.
We're pretty contracted.
All right.
All right, moving on, nothing under conceptual review, under board business, Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
What do we got?
What do we got?
So, from what I understand is that the boards themselves are responsible for setting up Zoom meetings from now on. There's a liability issue for them because they can't be the host of it.
Right.
Clearview can't.
Does that make any sense?
They're only supposed to be a recording entity per se.
Right.
Okay.
From what I understand that,
So this is being
Previously-
recorded right now,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
yeah,
But they would not broadcast it live?
no. Well, we would have to moderate.
Well, they could
From a laptop.
broadcast it live, but there's no way for anybody to attend the meeting.
Right.
Correct.
with
Unless,
Zoom.
unless
Okay.
we set the meeting up
Unless
ourselves.
Unless
set
we
up
set
the
it
Zoom.
up,
Yeah.
unless we're the ones that are controlling
Right.
people
Right.
speaking,
Yep.
not speaking.
Yes,
Right.
and then you would actually have probably, maybe your secretary is the one monitoring that and says, if we have a question, or maybe you have a moderator. I
We
know.
don't have to have Zoom
No,
meetings,
we
right?
don't.
No.
I think the Zoom thing is crazy. That was all just because of COVID.
Yeah, and actually the governor
They
signed a
won't be
thing
here,
that said
they'll be
that
here.
you can't vote on it anymore, you have to be in attendance to place a vote now.
Correct.
The governor passed that, so they did away with that.
I mean, I think it's good for people to be able to participate from home. I think it's a good thing,
Yeah.
but not if it's, when Clearview did it, and it was,
Right.
they could watch on the television
Yeah.
while it was live broadcast
Right.
and call in.
Yeah.
Great, but if they're not gonna do that, I don't see that it's practical for
Maybe if you had a request,
town boards to try to run
Yeah.
that on their own.
Yeah.
maybe if you got a special request of somebody that was bedridden and they wanted to zoom in or something, you could set up a special for that one in
Can you do
particular.
that?
And that would be acceptable.
Exactly, and that is what
Or-
is by, you
I
have to
think
be
if-
bedridden basically to
I think
zoom
if you're
in.
not willing to show up,
Exactly,
you shouldn't.
that's really what it states.
Or maybe send a representative, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just,
Does that-
I don't know.
does that make
It was
sense?
During COVID.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's,
I mean, I don't necessarily, I'll be honest, I don't necessarily like this, because like Dick, I think it's good that people were able to ask questions when maybe they weren't able to easily physically get here. Weather, distance, there's people that own property that are states away sometime, right?
correct.
I
Or
think it's a
that-
great idea, but the board
It's
can't.
no longer
Yeah.
practical to do.
Exactly.
And so just to be clear, I think that also would mean that none of us as board members could participate virtually,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
alternates almost have to be in attendance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that there's rules that the majority has to be here, but like you could have maybe one or two that were virtual.
Correct.
But I think I'm on the side of, if we're not gonna get the support from Clearview on this, this is beyond what we should be having to deal with.
Yeah, it's a lot to moderate a Zoom
Yeah.
and staff a meeting.
Right.
I'd
You'd
say.
almost have to hire somebody to be a moderator.
So what does that change for
Clerk.
us, assuming that tonight we decide, okay, yeah, we're not gonna, facilitate Zoom meetings? Is
we don't-
that just on our,
Why
on the
would we
agendas
decide?
where it's just not posted anymore as an option?
Right, right.
Okay,
We just stopped doing it.
You just stop doing it, you
Yeah.
don't have to decide anything, because
Yeah.
that way, at any point in time, you
It's
can
no
pick it back
longer
up.
And that's what I'm
available.
saying, like you said, if you get somebody calls in and says like, I can't,
Right.
then you can take the
Yeah.
time to do that,
Yeah.
to help somebody, but
If they have two legs and
That'd
they're
be
able to
right.
walk, go
Yeah.
on in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
folks can always submit written testimony.
sure, Yep.
It can be emailed in
Right.
and brought to the meeting and
Yep.
acknowledged on the record.
yep, okay, all right. Do we need to vote on this?
I don't think so, I don't know.
No, we never voted to start doing it.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
think we just move on.
All right, moving on to the fraudulent invoices.
Yeah, I just wanted you
What
all
was
to be
that?
aware of
Yeah,
that,
so maybe
and
Josh wants
did you see him?
No, it's just come
He's got
from
a
you?
copy
No,
of
somebody, Dick sent
To
it.
the folks who approved tonight.
I sent it
So,
out after the
so
last
what I,
meeting.
so what I understand,
Send Bitcoin?
so what I understand is that there are,
Holy crap.
there are folks that are out looking at municipality information online.
Well,
That right there was for a recent applicant,
that was
Actually sent
tonight's
the money.
applicant.
yeah.
wow,
So,
they sent the money to, where did it go?
well,
Go to Amber,
no,
she
so
said
not,
pretty.
not these folks.
No, not
but-
this one.
But other folks have,
Yeah.
right? Cause
It's easy
it
enough
looks
to do.
official enough, how's that? I wouldn't,
I mean, it's our logo.
So, we had an applicant,
so,
when it was a fraudulent invoice,
Yeah.
we had an applicant,
They sent it to.
that luckily, they
Fraudulent
didn't
people
send it
sent
to the wire, they didn't wire it like it asks for on
no,
that.
thank
Sent the
God.
They
Is this
sent a
the
check.
recent thing that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The land use
This
thing that I
is,
saw?
this
Wow.
one I got this week.
Jeez.
These two that we
It's
heard
unfortunate,
tonight.
they take advantage, they try so hard in New Hampshire, because the majority of the residents here are seniors and they know no better. I saw a guy at the gas station getting 10 maxed out gift cards, and I asked him, I said, is that for your family? Because I felt like he was getting scammed. He's like, no, these are for my grandkids. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, what's the maximum I can put on the card? And it's such a It's too bad that they do that.
I'll say this particular scam is
Yeah.
going around
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
Right.
And many municipalities
Yeah.
have had this exact same thing.
It's it's on the news now too.
Yeah, and
That's where I saw it.
we put something on the town website about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the police department did as well on their
So
Facebook
this was
page.
for the recent applicants?
Yeah, the ones that were here tonight. That, yeah.
Both
They did it
cases
quick.
tonight got those.
So they're
So,
watching.
so I think what you said earlier, what we're doing
They're on
now
Zoom.
is we're not going to be,
Well, how do you police that?
well,
You don't?
so,
You
so you can't, but,
No.
but
You
we
just
have.
notify people that, hey, listen, this is going on.
Sure, but as a public service, in a
Jeez.
way, we have been putting applications, like submittals online, and you're assuming that we're gonna be leaving here soon, aren't you?
I
Sorry,
like to
sorry.
let my truck run
Sorry.
for half an hour.
Good.
It doesn't shut off after 15 miles.
Yeah, I don't have to
So-
shut it off.
Sorry, John. So, we don't have to, I'm asking in a way, we don't have to do that. And this is where these criminals are getting that information. So if somebody wants.
Is this our letterhead?
No,
No.
well, no.
Well, it's our
but-
logo.
It's our
It is our
logo.
logo?
Yeah.
But they picked this stuff up off the website, because they wouldn't have that, they would have this.
Yeah.
But they don't know who to send the bill
And they're
to,
getting that off of the agenda?
off of the
Well, they're getting it
website.
off of, they're getting information off of somebody's application. I mean, think of everything
Yeah.
that's
The
here.
application's on the website.
But you can view these on the website?
You can, but we can't now, because she's not
Well,
going to
I'm
put it
sorry,
on there.
you've taken down that.
Yeah, there aren't any on there right now, but they
Right.
have been.
But you can request it still.
See, and still, you're gonna have to post an agenda 24 hours
Well, yeah,
advance.
the
Well,
agenda's
sure, but
fine.
the-
But they'd have to be click on the draw, wouldn't they?
Can you
No, but
redact the personal information from the versions that are posted online?
So I know in conservation, we don't say anybody's name, we just say the tax map and lot number. Is that,
But we have to public notice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it goes in the newspaper.
but
You
do you
know.
have to state a name?
But it's
Yeah.
their,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so people know.
Yeah.
so people know, oh, it's my neighbor, or it's they.
I thought you could just post tax map and
This is,
lot.
this is exactly why they can do this.
Yeah.
So you
And they-
just
they-
gotta be, you gotta be.
Right, you gotta be
And it's a
vigilant,
common
yeah.
thing for contractors to call too and see how many, it's,
Exactly.
they do all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
make it less easy.
You
Correct.
take
That way
an
you
installation
see-
company,
Yeah.
they'll go downstairs and get
Yeah.
15 of the new permits.
Yeah, what
and they'll
permits
run
have been
around with
approved.
it. And this was an issue
Yeah.
years ago. I had an issue with this, because every time I turned around, I had people leaving cards and stuff, and I'm saying, how are you getting this? They go down there, and they look through all the applications, and they take and write it down, then they drive around, leave their card.
Yep.
I don't think that we do that anymore.
Well, sometimes we've gotten 91A requests for that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
unless you do a
Well, that's what they
91A
do.
request,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then you can do that,
Yeah.
But then you gotta fill out your information to get that.
Well, and that was my-
91A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was my big
Yeah.
thing, is that you sell them a thumb drive, they have to come here and get it, because what they do is they bomb you with emails and stuff, and they say, hey, we're looking for this and this, and really, it should be, you have to pay for that thumb drive. If you want, you come in here, you put the request in,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
with small municipalities like this, sometimes we give forth information.
Yeah. So, it sounds like we are gonna do what we can to limit the
Jeez, that poor
information that
guy.
we're providing out there to make it less,
Yep.
easy, I
That's
guess,
interesting.
for these folks
That must
to
be the
to
year
get
they
this
got married,
information, right?
1981.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
The year I was born.
So, with that being said, does the notice of decision have to be on the website?
nope,
No, it
Yeah.
just in the lobby?
just needs to be available.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to send it to the
Well,
applicant.
yes, yeah,
But
yeah.
Jeez.
All right, any correspondence?
No.
Okay. Keeping Charlie
You wanna
away.
try, I'm gonna sleep 2 hours
All
last
right,
night.
approval of minutes from December
really
18th.
So moved.
Anyone care to second?
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
I'll abstain.
okay. All right, next meeting date is February 5th. Anyone care to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Look, we don't take one.